it can be worse. So what am I saying right now? I'm saying it's important to get ourselves out of our situations, but it's also very important to grow ourselves inside of ourselves out of the situation. Our mentalities are adjusting and changing as a result. And so as a result, this is just a little bit, just the tip of the iceberg of financial literacy 101 and how to get in getting out of debt, lowering my debt to income ratio to where my debt is clean, everything is clean, and I now have the resources. I now regain that right arm that was severed before, to where when problems come, challenges come, I have resources now available that I can utilize to be able to take care of it. And this is just in the matters of just when matters come, I have resources set aside that, oh, we can take care of it. We have room for it. But then what this also does is once we get the arm back in action, what's the next thing that's good to do? Strengthen it. We got to build that muscle up, build the muscle up on that arm so that it's not fragile and can easily break again. And so what's the way of how do we strengthen our arm in the fight when we talk about finances? Money, investments. And so this is one part of learning now. Now let me learn how to, I want to learn how to make my money make money for you. Now this is where the mindset comes in. And I'm going to say this before I close on this, just to give you an understanding of two mindsets and two financial lifestyles. And these are all things that we all say and we intertwine, but no one really understands how they work out. So what I'm saying is when it comes now to we use the terms rich, wealthy, poor, broke interchangeably all the time, you know, and the truth of the matter is there's no two words that mean the same exact thing. Okay. And so when it comes to the terms rich and wealthy, one is figurative and one is literal. Okay. And so what do you mean by that? And I'll start by saying this, and I mentioned this initially in our first session, that when it's to identify, to identify where I stand in this. So first I'll say this. When it comes to the term wealthy, wealthy is simply money that is in your pocket. If you follow the principles and the steps that I'm sharing with you and you start to accumulate wealth, you are considered wealthy. If you say, wow, I've been doing this and because I'm saving and it doesn't matter, I got $10,000 saved up. You know, that's wealth that I've accumulated, okay? Now, building wealth is a different matter, okay? And so this comes down to a matter of understanding how those who are of a rich mindset versus those who are of a poverty mindset view money. So when it comes to being wealthy, wealthy is simply what's in your pocket. Rich is how you think, okay? The difference between the poverty mentality and the rich mentality is the poverty mentality simply views money as leverage to buy things, whereas the rich mentality views money simply as leverage to make more money, okay? So think about that. And I would say this, I would ask people just to prove this very matter. And I would also say this to prove that, hey, you are not one, you're one who does have the understanding of what it means to have a rich mentality. Because I'll ask them two questions. I'll say, if you were given $1 million, what would you do with it? Most people will say, oh, I'll get out of debt, I'll buy a nice car, I'll take care of my mom's debt, I'll do whatever, some form of spending that money. And then they'll say, I'll save the rest. Now, I'm not going to get detailed in terms of taxes and whatnot. But then I'll talk to, and I'll ask them that same question. I'll say, if somebody planted a large apple tree in your backyard that harvests apples worth $1 million, would you sell it for $1 million? Or would you just harvest the apples every fall? Most people will say, what fool would chop down the apple tree that's harvesting apples? I'll say the same fool that spends $1 million. And they're puzzled at the time because they're like, I don't get it. And I say, because they don't know that $1 million invested at 10% interest makes you $100,000. So going back to this matter of what we're talking about, debt to income, and now I have savings. Okay, what do I do with my savings? I now understand that my savings is principal, but what I want to do is I want to plant my principal savings in a vineyard, in a place where it's going to generate more. A bank account is not going to generate. Okay, you might earn 0.15% interest on the money that you have sitting in the bank account. In fact, you pay more money on a loan on your money if it's collateralized than you would actually generating money from the bank in and of itself. To me, it's crooked personally. But anyway, that's another conversation. When it comes to savings, you now having investment accounts, whether that's a IRA or an annuity or some form of secured investment that generates income, that generates money at an interest rate that is a fixed interest, 2%, 6%, 12%, however, on a daily, on a monthly basis, is where you can grow your money. Whereas in 30 years, your money can be double, triple, however it is based on the way you invest. Okay, but now you actually have the money to do it. And you have the mindset to saying, instead of me spending this money, let me learn how to grow it and accumulate it and live off the interest. Think about it. Who chops down apple? Who chops down the branches when they take down apple trees? Isn't that silly? You know, yeah, it would be crazy because it's the branches and the more branches that grows that allows you to harvest more apples. So the more, so when you're messing and you're taking away from your principal income, you're taking away from your interest. So if you're building yourself up in a place where I can live off of interest, that is the most ideal place to be. And when we all hear the term, the rich get richer and the poor get poor, this is one of the main reasons why. Now, when us being equipped with that, you being equipped with that, how does that change your perspective or your game plan or things and what you want to do now going forward? How does that change the game plan or your plan or how you look at getting out of debt, building credit, investing for your future and for your family? And so I want to leave you with that right now. And we're gonna end this session today. We'll pick back up on this on part 4 or on part 3 in our 4th session. And I hope that this so far has been a great session for you guys right now. And I'm going to now open this up to some Q&A and some feedback.